Next up on our chapter on time, we're going to have a look at train timetables. And this is a question that almost always comes up on 11 plus papers. The schools want to see if you can just work your way through a timetable and you're able to add and subtract times and then just interpret a timetable to see what train is coming next. So I'm going to have a look at 6 different questions. I'll take one at a time, and then there'll be some questions for you to have a go at afterwards. And so with any train timetable, the times go down the page, the destinations are on the left hand side, and there's always a pattern. The length of time between every station is generally the same. So they follow a pattern, and just looking at the timetable, we have 5 trains. The first one goes at 8:50. The third one goes at 10:50, and the 5th one goes at 12:50. So they're always 2 hours apart. So you can see that every stop afterwards will be 2 hours apart as well. And train 2 and train 4 are 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So they're also 2 hours apart, and they will follow the same pattern. Okay, so let's have a look at part A. What time does train 4 from London Waterloo arrive in Kingston? So go across the table, find train 4, it leaves at 12 o'clock and it arrives at Kingston at A, there's a blank. So we have to work that out. But we have to follow the pattern. I'm going to have a look at train 2 and see that we know that leaves at 10 and it arrives at Kingston at 10:34. So subsequently train 4, which leaves at 12, will arrive 2 hours after train 2 does. So 12:34 it arrives in Kingston. For part B, the same pattern continues. Train 5 from London Waterloo, we need to find out when it arrives in Kingston. So train 5 leaves at 12:50, train 3 leaves at 10:50, so there's a 2 hour difference. So when train 3 arrives in Kingston at 11:24, we can assume that train 5 will arrive in Kingston 2 hours later at 1:24 or 13:24. Part C, what time does the 12:50 train from Hampton arrive at London Waterloo? Okay, so now the timetable is going the other way. So we have to look at the second half at the bottom, and it's from Hampton at 12:50. So we're looking at that part there, and we need to work out what time it arrives in London Waterloo. So look at the pattern from the other times. We're going to have a look at train 2 that left at 10:50 and that arrived in London Waterloo at 11:36. So the 12:50 train will arrive 2 hours later than 11:36, so 13:36. Part D, what time does the 13:44 train from Kingston arrive at Clapham Junction? So I look down at Kingston. Where's it at 13:44? There it is. So what time does it arrive at Clapham Junction? That's in the blank I. So I know that that train is following the train 3 pattern. That's at 11:44. That arrives at 12:12. So the 13:44 is going to arrive 2 hours later, which is 14:12. E. Billy wants to catch the 10:50 train from London Waterloo but arrives 18 minutes late. How many minutes does he wait for the next train? Okay, so 10:50 plus 18, so we need to go across the hour. That's going to make 11:08. So we're at 11:08 on the platform, and we need to work out when the next train goes. That is 12 noon, so quite a long time. So we have to subtract 12 o'clock from 11:08. I would recommend adding up from 11:08 up to 12 to get the number of minutes. So 11:08 plus 2 is 11:10, plus 50 is 12 noon. So overall there's a total of 52 minutes. And finally, there is a steep hill after leaving one of the stations. Which one do you think it is? So This requires a little bit of interpretation. We're going to have a look at the times between the journey from London Waterloo to Hampton and then the return journey and see if there's any difference in the times between the stations. So London Waterloo, Clapham, you can work out 14 minutes and then 12 minutes and then 8 minutes and then 4 minutes. I can write that in. Going back from Hampton to Waterloo, first one is 4 minutes and then 16 minutes and then 12 minutes and 14. So where is there a difference? Normally if there's a hill, you'd expect it to be slower leaving the station. So the pattern there seems to be once you leave Kingston. So that's a nice question. When I do these, I would just write the numbers, the distance between the time between the stations, write that on your timetable, and then you can compare the numbers from there and work it out. Great, so that's 6 questions done. When you get these in the exam, the key thing is just to plow on. These data questions often are quite long-winded, and you just have to keep on going. As always, there's a few questions below for you to practice, so have a go at those.